Hey, it's Brent with another question from a reader. It says, hey Brent, I've heard you say in one of your videos that monogamous relationships are not sexy, that you've lost all your sexiness. Do you mean that we should continuously live a life of hookups and never enter into a committed relationship because we lose all our sexiness? What's wrong with having a relationship or getting married to a woman who complements who you are? Well, nothing's wrong with that as long as you are capable of doing what you just said. Okay? So, I'm not anti-relationship, anti-marriage, as it were. What I am is I'm anti-getting together or getting married or getting into a relationship with the wrong person and getting into relationships, marriage, for the wrong reasons. That's what I am anti. I think that, this discussion could go on for like 19,000 hours, and I won't do that to you today. Excuse me, but I think, the institution of marriage is broken. And the reason it was invented and all this kind of stuff, it doesn't even make any sense anymore. The institution is completely outdated and would need to be updated for it to be something good to do. But let me go back to what I really wanted to say about this. Is that you see how strong your social programming is? I just want to point out here. And, you're not a bad guy. It's just that, it's so strong that you question, okay, do you think we should just continually live a life of hookups and never enter in a committed relationship? Right? So, and I know you're not really saying it like that, but I'm kind of saying it like that because that's how most people view it. The fact that you're asking the question, right, that you're questioning it is evidence of what an incredibly powerful job society has done in brainwashing you and screwing you up. And it's the cause of all your problems, actually. So, and all your issues, is this screwed up filter that you have learned, that you have assimilated, that you've been taught. I would say yes, in general, there is absolutely nothing sexy about committed relationships and marriage and having kids and all that stuff. There's nothing sexy about it. In general, okay? And I'm speaking in generalities. I know there are people out there who make it work and really are present and do a great job of keeping things sexy and not allowing regular life and the mundaneness and the rut of the rhythm of life getting in the way of actually living and remembering what was important about the relationship in the first place. Because what happens is, you start out you do traditional dating or whatever it is that you do out there, and then you get into a more serious relationship, what's defined as a serious relationship. And then you start to move to the next level because that's what people do, right? And then you lose all your sexiness. It was sexy at the beginning, right? You were excited. There was all this anticipation. You guys were more passionate. Maybe you were wilder. And then for most people, again, this isn't everybody, but for most people, they go down the road of, it just goes downhill from there. And that makes no sense to me. Right? It's like you're only doing it in order to get into something that doesn't work for most people. So you're being wild and sexy, and then all of a sudden, you're not wild and sexy. And then, other people might say, well, excuse me, why does it have to be sexy all the time? Oh, I don't know, to keep you interested? To keep life exciting? And look, I am absolutely not against living a life of committed to hooking up and not worried about what it means to live a life like that and to be in those types of relationships, because those are relationships too. You're always relating to people, Okay, we've just put labels on, this is a serious relationship, this is a casual relationship, this is what it means, this is what it is, this is what it means, this is what it doesn't mean. Okay? Again, we've labeled everything. We've stated what it means, and then we've agreed on what it means, which is the only place that it's real. Other than that, it's just a concept, an idea. You guys have heard me talk about this a million times. Okay, so that's what I have to say about that part. What's wrong with having a relationship with someone who compliments you? Again, compliments you in what way? Right? I mean, if you're both living in the matrix and you're both socially programmed and you both have attached meaning to everything, you are going down the road of ending up like most other people do who are in traditional relationships, and that is you're heading towards failure. You're setting yourself up for failure. So, now, having said all of that, I don't want you to feel hopeless if this is your, if your goal in life is to, be with one person and hang out and have this comfortable lifestyle where you feel safe and whatever, loved and whatever it is that you think you want. That is possible, but it is possible only if you and your significant other are self-developed. Okay? If you're not self-developed and you live in the matrix, you will live the same life that most people live who live in the matrix, right? So you'll be living exactly like we've already said. It'll be unsexy. There'll be all the things that traditional relationships bring because of how we've been taught that they are, boundaries and drama and possessiveness and all this stuff that is completely unimportant, but you've been told it's really important. Okay, so let me move on because I want to end this on a very positive note here for you. Okay, it is possible. It absolutely is possible, and here's how you would do it. You would, you would change your story. You would create a story, let's say, that is, I attract women who are self-developed and who are mentally sane and who live outside the matrix and who understand social programming and who are, who are, how I want to say, I said it, live outside the matrix, okay? So that so everything, based on what you've heard me talk about, based on all those things, you would just add those positive things, so you'd remove the negative things and you wouldn't put those in the story, so you don't want to say, and there would be no drama, you don't want to do that, so it would be, I attract carefree women who understand the reality, the real reality of life and are self-developed and mentally sane and understand that to getting into a relationship with me is about letting me be more of who I already am, if you're self-developed, okay, not who you are in the matrix, because that'll just bring more matrix, okay, more bad social programming and draw those things. So, and the bottom line is, let me say it a better way. If you should be going into a relationship to be more of who you already are if you're self-developed, and allow the woman who's supposed to compliment you to be more of who she already is if she's self-developed. It's not to change her. Okay, you don't go into a relationship to change someone, right? And you don't want her coming into the relationship to change you, and you're not trying to get something from her that you do not already possess. That's very important too. And so you want to, change your story to reflect all of what I just said, but all in a positive way. So she understands, the women that I attract understand and are on board with letting me be more of who I already am, which is this next level idealized version of myself who's carefree and courageous. See, I'm saying the opposite of attached and fearful, okay? And understands the true reality of life, and I'm totally self-developed, and she's excited and encourages me to be more of who I already am. And our relationship is sexy. It's very sexy. We have sex all the time. It's everything about our relationship is sexy, and she is committed to keeping it that way and to continue building it into even a more sexy relationship, okay? And you could say the same thing about yourself. You could say, I'm committed to that, and I'm very excited about encouraging her to be more who she already is and more carefree and more self-developed, and we complement each other in that way. And so you want to take everything that I've been talking about, okay, when I say outside the matrix, and you want to just tell yourself that you're that way and that your mate is that way, or the women that you are attracting are also that way. Because when I say that, that the key to this is attracting someone who's self-developed, that can be overwhelming to you, right? You could start thinking, well, that's going to be a difficult or tough or a challenge because everyone's screwed up. And everybody's living in the matrix and everyone's socially programmed. And you could go with that story, but guess what? That's what you'll attract, right? Exactly what you say. So you want to say, every woman who meets me understands and understands my path and realizes and is excited and attracted and sexually and every other way to my way of being. Okay? To my way of being and to the level that I'm on, and encourages me to go to the next level, and always does, and I encourage her to go to the next level. And so together we encourage each other and complement each other to continue to live outside the matrix, and it works. And it's awesome and incredible. And in that situation, if you were to have children, only to have children, which should be the only reason you have them, just to have them, right? Everybody keeps coming up with all these different excuses to have them. You don't need an excuse. Just have them or don't have them. So if you were to have kids in that, with those, in that situation, that's what I'm trying to say here, then what would you be passing on to them? You'd be actually passing on the real reality and not the matrix to them. Now that is an exciting prospect to me, okay? And it should be to you too. Because at some point here, we have to break the chain, all right? And you have to be it in order to break it, okay? Gandhi said it, be the change that you'd like to see in the world. Be it. And if you were to pass that down to the next generation, imagine how awesome it would be. So you want to think of all these things that I say that could be construed as negative, like being indifferent and all that stuff, and being carefree. You want to put a positive spin on it because it is positive. It is positive. Because I'll tell you that almost everything that's happening in our world today is caused by social programming. All the bad things that you see on the news, it's because everyone's living in this illusion and doesn't know why they're angry and why things don't work the way they should. Because the way you were taught in the first place is wrong. It's not real. It's fake. So it's no wonder people are running around shooting people. And come on. Okay? So I want you to reframe all of this as positive, because this, and this is part of the bigger picture, which I know you guys are seeing, that what we're doing here is more of a movement, and it's something that could change the future. It will change the future, okay? But you have to grasp onto it, and you have to be it, and you have to live it, and you have to be committed to it. So, I think I'll stop right there. Again, I could go on for a million hours on this kind of stuff, but I hope each one of these videos, kind of brings more clarity to this. So that's the answer to your question. So that's what I have to say about what you just said, okay? So I'll leave it there. Try that on and let me know what happens, and I'll talk to you later.